Hello everyone and welcome to the KneeDown Podcast. My name is Matt Grant and today we have another extremely special guest. British Talent Cup champion and now Red Bull Rookies rider, we have Lucas Brown. Lucas, welcome to the KneeDown Podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
My pleasure, Lucas. Thank you for joining me promptly as well, actually. I was keen to speak to you and I've got plenty of burning questions to ask you. So, Lucas, I'm going to kick off straight away, my good friend. Let's kick things off from the start. How did it all begin for you? What's the first memory for you of racing, either from watching or even doing it yourself?
So for me, I always started with watching motorbikes. When I was younger, me and my dad would always sit down and watch like World Superbikes, British Superbikes, MotoGP, just like anything we could find that was racing, we'd watch, whether it was cars, bikes, everything. So I started with that, and then on my 7th birthday, before my 7th birthday, I sort of like had a sit down with my dad, and he was like, "Look, do you want to give this a go?" And I obviously, like being a kid, like bright eyes wide open, like I want to do this. And so we did. This was before my birthday, and nothing really happened from that. But little did I know, on my birthday, we'd gone to my parents had booked a place, so we'd gone there, and then I'd been given a lesson to ride a motorbike, and that's where it all started.
And I've seen on your website actually that you credit your parents for a lot of where you are today. And was it that moment and then that constant support then that is the reason why you credit them for your success in your career, or has it been extra support as well along the way?
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot of everything, you know. Obviously there's a lot of external support, my sponsors. They're true and loyal to me. Shane at Amphibian Scaffolding, he's been with me for 5 years now, been my main sponsor, which we're super grateful for. But a lot of it is my mum and dad, you know. My dad has always been my mechanic from day one. So when I was in the British Talent Cup, for instance, he was my main mechanic. He was the one that was building the bikes. You know, so it's nice to have that support. But my mum as well, she's always with us. She always comes to all the race meetings. It's a lot of both, but a lot is my parents.
When your dad is working on the bike and you're coming back and you talk about the bike and let's say maybe you've crashed, is there a sense of extra pressure on yourself or extra guilt in the sense because it's your dad who's done that bike, or is it just a case of mechanic, business, job, it is what it is? On
a race weekend there's a level of professionalism, almost as in a switch up where he's my mechanic, I'm the rider, I almost call the shots a little bit, if that makes sense. My obviously for my last season of British Talent Cup I had my dad as my mechanic, but I had a crew chief, so I was more in tune with my crew chief, and my dad was there to be the mechanic, if that makes sense. So there's a sort of element of guilt, I've ruined all this hard work, but at the end of the day we're racing motorbikes. It happens.
It's true. It's business, isn't it? I mean, you'll have friends as well that you race against, and obviously you're going to race against them, you're going to give it the old elbow, it's going to get argy-bargy. But the second the helmet comes off, I'm sure it's just all, oh, that was great, right?
Yeah, no, a lot of that as well. I've experienced, I'm good friends with a lot of other racers, which is really nice, you know, because as well, we all have a common interest, you know, we're all sort of there to do the same thing, and when you have a common interest with someone, you just tend to get along. So, now always, for me, I've been racing the same guys as well, from 2017 to 2024, so it's, you know, you get comfortable and familiar with a lot of people.
And is that a benefit to know their strengths and weaknesses? Or is it a case of just, these are the riders I face against and this is what the job I've got to do? Is there an element of, you know, maybe a bit of camaraderie, but also I really want to beat you because we are good friends?
Yeah, I guess there's an element of I want to one-up you and this and that, but as well that there's also an element of you don't forget things. So if something's happened, you know, 3-4 years ago, you know that they've done that before, there's a likelihood they're going to do that again, if that makes sense. You kind of get a feeling for everyone, and obviously people's riding styles change and all that, but they're still the same core characteristics of riders.
So when you're riding the familiar riders, and now obviously you go into Red Bull Rookies, when you race those, they're going to be unfamiliar, I imagine some of them. Is there an element of trust that you know that I know this guy's going to go for the inside lunge, I know I can trust that I can lift out of the sway, and then when you fight against riders you're unfamiliar with, is there that element of, I don't know if I can respond in this corner because he might be a bit leery and he might take me out? Is there an element to that while you're racing?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say that there's more of an element of I don't care. I'm going for the move. If we crash, we crash. It's more of a cutthroat sort of. Like when you're in the British Tank Cup, you know everyone. It's kind of more of like, oh, I don't really want to take him out. We're friends, so you kind of have that like 5% knockoff of aggression. Whereas in like Red Bull Rookies, I don't know this guy. I'm just gonna send the move.
Well, I mean, judging on that, though, watching British Talent Cup in the past, it doesn't look like you guys are taking it lightly, even if you're friends or not. There's a lot of elbow barging, a lot of kicking about. So it looks that way from us on this side of it, but deep down, it's still, no, I'm not going to make sure I do a daring move to make sure I don't knock him over, for example.
Yeah, for me, it's like I'd rather finish the race than take this guy out, as well as like I don't want to take him out anyway. So, like for me, it was a lot of like, yeah, I'm going for something that's like a bit of a send. It's a bit dangerous, but I'm doing that in a controlled manner, if that makes... Like, everything was, tight and close, but it was all sort of controlled chaos. It was chaos, but it was controlled in a sense. Like, to an extent, it was controlled.
So, for your racing style, the way you are, is that something that you've just developed yourself, or is it from learning from the likes of your mentor, Kyle Smith, or maybe from the people you've spoken to? Do they impact the way you race, or is it a case of, no, this is the way I am, and this is the way I will be on the bike?
I think yes and no. A lot of stuff, like when you put the visor down, a lot of stuff just does go in one ear and out the other, you know? It just... When you get in the zone and really focus, it's hard to change them habits, which is why it's so hard to improve. Obviously, you have to improve, and it's breaking that cycle of just getting in that like focused state and doing the same thing. When you need to improve, you need to break that and then like introduce new things, which it's hard.
Is there any habits that you have broken out of that you are specifically proud of?
Ooh. I think, a lot of times in like the early days of British Tank Cup, I would brake super late, like later than anyone, and I would run into the corner so much, and I'd be so fast into the corner that it would affect me getting on the throttle on the way out, which is still an issue for me now, but it's way less than what I was. Like now it doesn't affect me on the way out, but I run too much in, if that makes sense. I need to stop the bike more and fire out and get a better exit, which is difficult. We're making progress in this direction, but you know, it's I have a lot of a way different style because of my weight and my size. I'm taller than everyone else, heavier than everyone else, so when I come out of the corner the same as everyone else, I'm going slower. So I need to find a way to like gain time, and me going in faster than everyone else is just free time. But sometimes it's not. It's a bad thing because I'm going in too fast, and then I'm not getting the same or if not better exit as everyone else.
Right, I see. And is that a mental side to it when you're on the bike, or is it just simply a case of getting the muscle memory and remembering during the race that, you know what, I need to take it tighter and go for that wider sweeping line or tight line, for example?
Yeah, I think there's like that kind of side to it. It's more of like a it is mental, but it's like you kind of have to like pause and think to yourself like, right, I need to just hold on to the brake a little bit longer. And I think it's so hard to judge because you're talking 0.1, 0.2 of a second, just touching that brake a little bit longer and then giving it everything. So it's hard because it's such fine margins, but you have to really like deep down think to yourself like going into the corner almost. You have to like break that focus state and then think to yourself and just do it.
That's why I find it incredibly fascinating, because when I spoke to Eddie in the previous podcast, you know, and even Declan in the Junior GP, I refer to you guys as aliens, and I still do, because someone who doesn't race and doesn't ride bikes, finding that to a normal person sounds, oh, we just brake earlier, yeah? But it's really not like that when the margins, as you say, are so fine, the competition is so high. Where do you find that limit, and what is the way to find that limit? Is it just keep on pushing, keep on going, and keep on getting it? Or is there a secret to doing it?
I'm not 100% sure. I guess, like, for me, it's more just crashing. Like, when you crash, you have to learn from it, and
right,
that helps a lot. Like, say if you come into a corner and brake at a 50-meter marker, but you get to the apex and fold the front, then you know that you've broken too late and you're too hard on the brakes on the side of the tire. Maybe you need to brake. Like, the one outcome learning from it could have different, like, it could have maybe 4 or 5 different like solutions. Like, say if you've broken at 50 mark, folded the front, you could brake harder when you're upright to slow the bike down more and then run in the corner speed. You could just simply brake earlier. Like, it's finding that perfect technique and routine throughout the whole track.
And it's like risk and reward, isn't it? So the risk is obviously the crash, but the reward is now I know for a fact that that's not the way to do it. So you kind of have to push that limit. It's like the Marquezes of the world, where they will crash many times, but they know next time that that's sorted. I'll not crash in that corner again because I've got that feeling and that speed to make sure I won't do it again. Have you had any particular moments where you've crashed and gone, I will never crash in that corner again? Maybe
not in the corner, but I've definitely had moments, especially recently, where I'm like, I shouldn't do that again, which is like when we did the Red Bull rookie test. The way they'd send us is in groups of 4. So you'd, like, your front 4 would go, then the next group of 4 would go, and I was in the first group of 4. And then so we'd go out and we'd all be looking for a tow. Like, the faster guys were in the middle of the groups of 4. So we'd, like, go and we wouldn't be on the pit lane limiters. We'd be like cruise, like literally rolling speed down pit lane, like a walking pace on the pit lane exit, almost crossing onto the track. So and when we were doing that, obviously in Aragon, it was a cooler temperature. The wind was quite high, so the tires were cooling, and then the fast guys came, and through 4 and 5 we started to push, which is the left hand side of the tire, and then we go right in turn 6, I think it is, and then you've got 7 and 8. So this is still outlap. I've come through, so we've come out of 4, started pushing. So I didn't get to fully push on the left hand side of the tire, so it's very cold. And then we've gone through 6 pushing, 7 pushing, and then into 8. I've just come in and folded the front immediately on, like, the outlap of our one of the sessions where we had a new tire, and it was like, oh my god, what have I done? But no, it's a learning curve.
Absolutely it is. And you know, that head in hands moment is part of everyone's journey, isn't it? Every single rider's done something like that, where they'll know, no, got to be careful next time. But in the Red Bull rookies as well, even British Talent Cup, because of your size, I guess it's better for you to be in that tow, because with your size and your weight, it's going to be difficult for you to do that lap by yourself, isn't it? So do you think that's what you'll be trying to do now for the Red Bull rookies?
Yeah, obviously. I think, like, British Talent Cup for me, a lot of my practices, qualifyings were all, like, the laps were all on my own. So I was the guy in the front. But the like junior GP, I think it's impossible to do on my own. Like, with the size and the weight, Red Bull rookies is like the same. When we did the test, we all had to weigh in, and I was 5 kilos heavier than the next heaviest person, and he's a good maybe 5 off the next. So
man.
It's it's, and you know, it's difficult, but yeah, for me in British Talent Cup, like, the level it's good for a national championship. It's good, but at the end of the day, it's a national championship. When you step up to a world championship like Junior Worlds and Red Bull Rookies, it's a struggle.
I can imagine it's out of one difficult championship to another step of difficulty, which I admire, and obviously we all support you and give you full credit for. But regarding the British Talent Cup, what was the season like for you? You know, was there a standout race or moment that said to you that meant the most, and you really felt like this is it, this is where the journey then takes its next step? Is it the win, or is it something even before then?
I think coming into the season, we knew we'd be strong. The season before, I finished P6 in the championship, but I'd had a few podiums. I think I had a second place, a couple of third places, but I crashed a lot, and I had a couple of DNFs. So that's why the championship wasn't so good. So it was like, the year before, we had mega consistency. We were a top 10 every race, but we just lacked that pace. Whereas the next year, we sort of had that pace, but we lacked the consistency. So then, going into 2024, we knew all we needed to do was just put it together, and then it's done. Do you know what I mean? So we came into the championship, and we were always like checking, like the news reports, where they would write like a pre-season report on everyone and like who to look out for all this, and I wasn't mentioned once, and we were like, right, this is fuel for the fire, so it made us work extra hard. And yeah, I have to say fair play to my dad, because he built an incredible bike, which yeah, just helped so much, especially like with the weight. The bike needed to be fast, and we had a fast bike, but no, it's coming into the season we were like, okay, yeah, if like we believed in ourselves that we could do it. And yeah, we came into Navarra, had a strong sort of test day 1, and then had a really bad test day 2. Struggled a lot, and then going into the weekend we just started to just build it up, and then I think I qualified front row. Race 1 I had a second, which was like mint. I got slipstream to the line. I should have won that race, and not another one that got away. And then I had a 4th, and then I won the last race, which and I think from that point it was like a real, not only belief from me, because I think I knew I could do it anyway, and so did my dad, but a relief from the team, because they took a gamble with me. That's a whole different story. I actually had a ride before lined up, and that got pulled, so then I wasn't actually meant to be with the team I was with, but it worked out all right. So,
wow, I think it did work out all right, wouldn't you? I think you can agree on that one.
Yeah, but the like I think from that race win in Navarra, it sort of set the tone for the season, and it was a bit like they were I'm not saying like not slating anyone, but there was, I think, almost a little bit of a feeling of like, okay, could this be the year? Could this not? And then I think once we won that race, it was like dead set. All right, we have to give everything now, and we have to really try, because this is the year.
I love that. It's like a little click in it, like that boost that just says, "I'm ready. I'm going to do that." And that momentum just stayed with you throughout the season and shapes the victory, basically.
Well, yeah, it was weird for me as well, because like I hadn't ridden the bike all winter, so I'd come from the last round last year, and I hadn't ridden the bike. I'd obviously trained and done a lot of stuff on other bikes, but I hadn't ridden the NSF 250. So I came into Navarra without riding the bike, I'd never worked with the team before. I'd only met one person from the team. I hadn't met my crew chief, hadn't met anyone. So we were like, it clicked basically. As soon as we got there, everything just kind of fell into place, and it was really cool to see.
And after that moment, did you notice any change in your own personality as well, in your own personal life outside of the race? And did you feel more confident? Did you feel with more belief, more positive? How would you say that made an impact on the outside of racing?
I think maybe not so much in the first half of the season, but like towards the end, I definitely feel like I had a bit more confidence and a little bit more of like a almost like cocky-ish air to me, which I try and dial back. But no, I think like there was a bit more of a like, you know, I'm Lucas Brown, you know what I mean? I'm like bleeding the British Championship. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of a bit like that.
Well, you deserve that, because that's the hard work that you've put in. So you're allowed to have that swagger when you say, you know what, I've proved what I said I was going to do, or the people who doubted me and didn't put me on those lists now know that who Lucas Brown is. So I totally agree with you. I don't think that's a negative. I think that's a part of a process of everyone who gets a bit of success in something that they're doing. So I think it is obviously noticeable, isn't it, as well? If you notice it yourself, and I'm guessing others did as well, and the more confidence you have, the more people believe in you, and the more... Because I always believe that if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect others to?
Yeah,
so for you to believe in
100%.
yourself, you're nailing it, you're backing it, what you're saying, and then you won the British Talent Cup. So with all that being said, I mean, that moment has just been a huge knock-on effect. But the winning, specifically the title for you, did that then give an extra boost of confidence, or is it the same wave that started?
I think it was almost like a little bit of an extra boost, but the main place I noticed it was when we were called up to do the junior GP wildcard, and we ended up like going there thinking, oh yeah, you know, if I can get points, you know, that's not a bad weekend. And I remember I got there, rocked up, and the first day, so the Thursday is not timed, and then the second day is the Friday. Rocked up Friday practice, you know, thinking I'm all right, and then come back in the box and look at the timing screens, like looking at the top 15. I can't see anything. top 20, can't see anything, and then like top 25, I can't see anything. I'm like, and then I look down, I'm like P29, like free from last, and I'm like, okay, this is how it is, yeah. So yeah, it was one of them where it was like culture shock, put back in my place.
It must have been a glitch with the timing system or the transponder. I won't worry about it.
Yeah, I think it was for the whole weekend as well.
Yeah, that's weird, I know. So maybe someone put something in your bike or something. Who knows? It can't be you.
Yeah, special treatment.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like not letting the British Talent Cup guy come here.
Yeah.
But even then, after that moment, British Talent Cup win, Junior GP humbling moment, has the pressure changed for you, or is it still the exact same? I'm still thinking the same goals, same targets. How does it feel?
To an extent, for me, I don't really put myself in a lot of pressure. I kind of try and take the pressure off as much. I'm not 100% sure how I deal with pressure, but I feel like sometimes pressure is perfect for me. Like, I love it, and I love to be that, like, the one that you don't expect, almost like that underdog kind of story. But no, for like pressure wise, I don't really. I try and take as much off as I can. Just try and chill. Obviously there's moments where you can't avoid pressure. Like say last round British Talent Cup.
Yes.
Going for the championship, you're under pressure no matter what. But no, I just try and sort of keep my head down and not think about it too much.
So when you're at home, you're doing whatever you're doing, you're playing MX bikes with your mates, or GP bikes on Steam, you're having a good fun, you're having a good time, you've done your training that evening, just basically like put it to the back of your mind and just think about it tomorrow. Would you say that's the way you'd approach it?
No, it's just more like almost when I feel pressured, almost just like taking a step back, thinking, I've earned my place here, I belong here, just relax, have fun, go out and have fun, and it will come.
Yeah. And do you speak to your mum and dad a lot about the pressures and the challenges that you have with the bikes and in general with racing? Do they help with that?
Yeah, I especially like my mum is quite a strong person. So like if I'm like feeling shit, I can talk to her, and if like my dad, it helps a lot with like riding the bike as well. So he'll be like when British Talent Cup, he could kind of go out and spot and say, oh look, you're slow here, slow there, and he helps that way.
That's really cool. I think I was talking to Craig recently about this with Declan. He goes out on the track and he also spots and points things out. I always find that so fascinating because that second pair of eyes can teach you something that you may not have noticed, and it can have an impact. Is there anything in particular he has noticed about your style or what you were doing, and you thought, you know what, that's a great idea, I'll try that?
I don't know. It's a lot of it is like the finer details. So,
okay.
Like a lot of it as well for us is obviously all data. So you come in, you look at a computer screen, and that's the answers you get. But a lot of times that isn't like, I need to, go 3Ks faster here, but how do I do that? Is my line wrong? Is this right? That's the stuff that you don't see on the data, which is why we have like now in the team we have rider coaches and all this. Like in Junior GP and Red Bull, we have rider coaches that go out and all they get paid to do is go out on the moped and watch and compare us to everyone else and make sure that we're we understand where and how to find the time.
And the data is it easier to understand as you've gone on, or is it just basically the same as whatever you've always learned, or does a different coach have a different way of explaining it so it's easy to understand?
I think a lot of people have their own ways of sort of explaining data. It's one of them things which is the hard part of racing. It's so important, but a lot of people don't understand it. I'm quite lucky that I do a lot on computers anyway, so I understand a lot of the data. Obviously, sometimes you have different data systems. Like when I was in British Talent Cup, I had two different data systems. So I had one data system from 2020 when I did the wildcards all the way until 2023, and then in 2024 I switched completely data systems. So I had no reference of data that year. It was just me looking at my own data, basically, and just analysing, where I think I can improve and what I think looks wrong and what looks right. Obviously, we didn't have like suspension stuff and all that, which is a completely different side to it. But just off the pure like riding inputs, so like brake pressure, throttle percentage, RPMs, wheel speed. Just off that alone, I could tell so much of what I could change and what to like where to improve and how to do it. But the like in Junior GP, it's completely different. Again, we have the 2D full data system. So you got like suspension, brake, literally anything you could ever imagine, even lean angle we have. And so to understand that is completely different as well. It's formatted in a different way. It's all different, but I think now I'm kind of slowly getting used to it, and I can read a fair bit of it.
That's incredible. I would akin it to the likes of sheet music for a musician, where someone can read it and go, yeah, I understand exactly how to play it, and then people are going to be like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's definitely an element that takes a little bit of time to understand, but like now for me it's not so bad.
Yeah, because I think on the outside perspective, it just looks like loads of wavy lines and numbers, and it doesn't really make that much sense. But when I think someone can extrapolate it and explain it to you crystal clear, and then for yourself who are already clued up on that side of it, there probably is a lot of data that people are missing without that right explanation.
Yeah.
And since you've spent all that time to learn that, I imagine that probably does give you an advantage that maybe others have not caught up on. Would you agree?
Yeah. I guess yes. Like obviously, you will always have like a data person to explain everything to you, but it's how you take that as well. Like if a data guy's telling you to do something in this corner, but you're not confident in there, you're probably not going to do it. But it's kind of managing that, and you've kind of got to understand what the data is and how to use it to benefit you on the bike.
So before we move over to talk about the Red Bull Rookies Cup experience, because obviously it's still pretty fresh, I would just like to ask you one quick question. Who in BTC at the moment would you say is the next upcoming rider, or the next rider to win the championship and probably follow in your footsteps? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think for me this year, to win British Talent Cup, I would like Julian Correa to win the British Talent Cup. Just because he's with my old team, he's basically got my old ride, which obviously I love the team and I want them to do well, so that's why I'd pick Julian to be the next, to be the next one to sort of come on the road to MotoGP. It's difficult for me. Would be like from last year would be Emmanuel, second in the championship, tall heavy rider like myself, riding really good all year. Maybe I'd have to give it to Philip, maybe, just on like riding with him. If he can sort of improve a little bit from last year, he'll be, I think, very strong. He'll be strong this year for sure. He'll be in the front three, but I think he is the one to watch.
I like it. And if he wins next year, he needs to give you a shout out or somewhere. He needs to promote Lucas Brown somewhere.
I predicted it.
Yeah, the prophecy is alive in the KneeDown Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. So, with your height, and obviously you just mentioned there, reminding me of certain taller riders in the past of MotoGP and Superbikes, the likes of Loris Baz, and Valentino Rossi was quite tall, Danilo Petrucci. I will ask you, who is your MotoGP hero, and if that does affect your decision-making to put someone who's similar to yourself?
My MotoGP hero has always been Jorge Lorenzo. Ever since I started watching, always been a Lorenzo fan. Similar to myself, I would say, I'd say Lorenzo, to be honest. I've kind of got like a smooth sort of flowing style, which is always what Lorenzo was good with. Maybe as well the likes of Dennis Foggia from the year he almost won the championship. I think it was 21, 22.
21, yeah. He just came up short to Pedro, right?
Yeah. That year he was super fast, super wide, open, fast, flowing lines, that's kind of my style. Like a lot of momentum. I don't like to stop and accelerate. I like to just have it high speed all the time. So I'd say, like, as a rider close to myself would be Dennis.
So then a mixture of Lorenzo and Dennis Foggia would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I still think to this day Lorenzo has got the greatest riding style of all time, the smoothest looking riding style ever. It's gorgeous to watch.
Yeah, no, he's like, I don't know I guess like when you're younger, like whoever's winning or whoever's doing well and looks cool, you're just like, I want to be him. Like he's my favorite. I want to be him. So I guess like that kind of happened to me. But no, I've always been a Lorenzo fan.
That's really cool. That's not often you hear that as well, because you're obviously quite young. So to Lorenzo, for you must have been really young. 2010, 2012, 15 when he won the championship as well.
I think I caught him in the later years of like, it would have been like maybe like 2012, 2015, that kind of the sort of end of the best of Lorenzo.
Yes. Although if he stayed with Ducati, I think he would have won the world championship. I do think he was amazing on that bike.
I think if he hadn't have like retired, I think he would still be. Well, he would have been for another couple of years in the front. Maybe win a title. I'm not 100% sure, but he would have definitely been the front sort of four.
Yeah, swapping to the Honda in 2019 was just disastrous. I remember, particularly, obviously, I was a Rossi fan. I'm a fan of everyone, really. I'm quite unbiased, but Rossi was always my sort of hero. And I remember specifically Catalonia in 2019, where Lorenzo took out the four of them. Took out himself, took out Rossi, Vinales, and Dovi. And I remember then just thinking, I think this is it for Lorenzo now. And I was gutted. I was really disappointed.
I think everyone saw that and was like, yeah, he's past his prime now. He can give it a rest.
Oh, man. But one thing I will say is, actually, this is quite relevant to yourself. Towards Lorenzo's latter stages, in fact, even from the early stages before we look at this part, he never had his leg dangle. It was always silky smooth, really tight to the bike. Towards the latter stage, Ducati onwards and Honda, the leg started to come out. Do you yourself feel that sometimes the leg needs to be out, or are you following that trend with the leg, or do you prefer knees in?
It depends. It's situational for me. So like, I know some riders that like when the bike is sliding on the entry, they take both feet off. I know some people that like just take the outside leg off. Like sometimes that's what I do. It's more of just a comfortability thing. So like, it's whatever you're comfortable doing. I think there's twos and fours for everything. The leg dangle is supposed to help stop fishtailing, which I've never struggled with. But no, like some corners you almost have to do it because it's so satisfying. Like in the test in Aragon, Jesus, into the chicane before the back straight, so into the right. Every lap I had to dangle the foot. I don't know why. It works.
And did you scrape it or just dangle it?
For me, I touched down. Yeah,
straight let it slide.
I put a hole in my boot already after 2 days of testing.
No way.
Yeah. It's all right. My teammate from juniorgp, Vader, he put a hole in, I think, after 3 sessions.
Is it that abrasive, or is it just that he's putting his foot down so much?
No, when you put the boot down, it just eats the boot. Like,
wow.
It's ridiculous. You could easily do, like, from a brand new boot, you could easily put a hole in the bottom within a session.
That's
if
ridiculous.
You did it, like, every lap in, like, maybe 3-4 places, yeah, you can. I'm about 90% sure them MotoGP boys, they do a boot every session.
Yeah, I think they have them repaired because they like the feeling of it being comfortable, and they just have them repaired after every session. I remember Alvaro Bautista, he completely wore a hole into his foot a couple of years ago. He was even cut his foot, it was bleeding because he'd done so much in it.
I think Pedro had done that as well. It's like one hole in the toe and they're like all the way around the sole, but they do repair them because I've at the minute now for Red Bull rookies you have to take your kit home, and I've got one boot and one inner boot. I've only got one outer boot because the other ones with Alpine Stars getting repaired.
Oh, that's a shame because I was going to say you should show us. It'd be really interesting to see the damage on the boot.
No, I haven't got it now. It's with Alpine Stars.
That's crazy. That's awesome though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Johan Zarco was kicking off sparks in Kota as well.
Yeah, but that probably would have been a toe slide. I'm not. I think he runs TCX boots. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I don't know what they've got on the bottom, but no, it would have been either like a toe slider or something like that.
So now you're in the Red Bull rookies. Are you seeing different things that maybe is caught you by surprise that you've never seen before in races and riding styles and actions and cultural differences? What would you say in the sense of being now in the big boys, let's say?
There's a lot that's caught me by surprise, especially the speed of the guys. They are fast. Like coming from British Cup, always I thought like, the level here is like, it's like fast, and then you go out to Junior GP and Red Bull Rookies, and it's a full culture shock. The guys are so fast, but as well, like it's taught me an appreciation for people at the back of Moto3. It's like, yeah, they're at the back of Moto3, but you don't understand how much of a good job they're actually doing. Just because they're at the back doesn't mean they're slow, which is something that I've learned. But no, like culturally, I guess I've learned a lot. I think because being with the junior talent team, I have 5 teammates, 2 from Indonesia, 1 from Thailand, 1 from Japan, and 1 from the Philippines. So it's a lot of different, like for me especially, it's a lot of different culture with the team, and like following what they do. Like say for instance, my 2 Indonesian teammates, them being Muslim and praying is completely different for me, and it's like something almost I've never seen before, which is quite cool to see and experience as well. Like the culture in the countries that you visit is completely different. Like going to Spain, obviously I'm very accustomed to Spain now, spending a lot of time there, but just like the times you eat, so when you're coming from Britain, you eat 6 o'clock, a normal time. When you go to Spain, you have to almost like starve yourself in the evening, because restaurants don't open till like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, which is ridiculous. You don't see anyone eating until really late at night, which is just like completely different as well. And I'm really excited to see like to go to like Germany, Italy, and France as well. I'd like to experience more culture.
That's really cool. That's a great point actually, because those subtle differences can have an impact on you as well, because you're ready to maybe rest and relax. It's 8 o'clock in the evening, and you think, well, I'm still hungry. I want to go out and get something to eat. I've been waiting for so long. But do you try like your teammates' foods and stuff like that? Do they have anything unique, or is it all just really healthy stuff?
Now at the minute, like it's just normal food. Obviously, like it's not unhealthy, but it's it's like rice and chicken, or like when we were in the test in Junior GP, we would go to the hotel and we'd have like steak and potato, or we'd have like a soup, or like just normal kind of standard food. Like for me, I try and eat a little bit more healthy, because obviously I'm so much bigger and heavier than everyone else. But no, it's obviously we all eat healthy, but it's nothing like, especially when we're in the race weekends and we're out traveling. It's you've got to do what you got to do. If there's no healthy food about, you've got to make do. got to try and make something healthy.
Now we actually joked earlier regarding Eddie O'Shea's Nando's preference. Do you have a favourite cheat meal yourself?
Ooh, no. For me, like with my diet plan, because I'm on a diet plan at the minute, I have like set meals all the time, and then on a Sunday I get one cheat meal, so I can either have like a pudding or I can like eat an actual meal. And I don't know, maybe for me soon it's definitely going to be a fish and chips.
Oh,
I haven't had one in ages, and I'm quite southern, and I'm quite near the sea, so I guess it's cultural.
Proper fresh then, I guess. So.
Yeah.
What's your choice of condiment with it then? Is it just straight up fish and chips or mushy peas?
Nah, it's got to have tartar sauce.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, proper.
I'm actually allergic to fish, so I cannot enjoy this. I can get a pie or something instead then.
Yeah. They serve batter chips, batter sausages, it's alright.
Yeah, those are great, actually, to be fair. So you're allowed that cheat meal on Sundays, but what are you allowed to have when you won the British Talent Cup?
Or, do you know what? We kind of made it a ritual now, because I won the British mini bike title, or Cool Fab Racing. It was called when I won it. But it's gone for a couple of names. But when I won that championship in 2020, we had a Domino's pizza. So now when I won the British Talent Cup, we had a Domino's pizza. So
and what did you order?
Well, when I won the mini bike title, I had no clue. That was 5 years ago now. I think I'd probably Texas barbecue or something like that. But when I won British Talent Cup, we had Carl Smith and his wife over with us, so we just ordered like a bunch of pizzas and ate it all, and then flew back out in the morning. That was tough as well. When I won the British Talent Cup, I had the Red Bull Rookie selection event the next day. Or it was Tuesdays, but we had to travel out Monday. So I'd won the race at like 4. No, the time was like maybe like 4ish. Didn't leave the track until probably like 7, 8 o'clock, because obviously you've got to do your photos, you've got to see everyone, and it's that there's a different feeling to everyone around, like packing up in the last two, because some championships finish at Donington and some championships finish at Brands, and I don't know if you've ever been to Brands for the end of the year. It's like after the race is a completely different feeling to any other round, which is like, it's such a cool feeling as well, because it's like everything's done, pressure's off, you can chill, you can now like. So we stayed for ages, obviously, had to do meetings, all this. So didn't leave the track till like 7, got home, but by the time we got home, it's like a 2-hour trip to Donington, got the pizzas, come back, it was like 11, half 11. So we managed to get to sleep at like 12, and then 3 o'clock in the morning, had to get up and then fly out to Spain. Yeah, it was a long couple of days.
There truly is no rest for the wicked, is there?
Yeah, fully no rest.
I admire that. But from an atmosphere from when everyone lets their hair down at the end of Brands to the paddock of Red Bull Rookies, are you seeing any difference in that? I mean, the general paddock in BSB and the National Championships is usually quite chilled and relaxed anyway. Is it more intense in where you've been so far in Aragon?
I'd say yes. Obviously, Red Bull Rookies has a sort of high level of like high standard of what they expect from you off the track. I think Junior GP is similar, like just because it's so competitive, everyone wants the best. So the level is super, like everyone will dedicate everything to it. But the British Superbike paddock it's a good crack. I love the paddock. It's good fun. Everyone's pretty chilled, But one thing I've learned is a lot of races are very similar. No matter like where you come from, where you've raced, everyone's like so on and so on. It's pretty cool to see. Like when I met my teammates, like as soon as I met them, I kind of realized like, oh wait, like these guys are just like the same as everyone else.
I think one of my biggest experience from going to a MotoGP event, which was Silverstone 2018, that was my first, I think. I went as a young kid, but I don't really remember it. I found myself just walking around, buying merchandise and talking to people that I've never met before, and just talking to them as if we'd been friends for years, because everyone's such a fan of it. And I think being in that situation, now talking to yourself, you're so cool, so chilled, so relaxed, fun to talk to. It's the exact same way as Eddie was, exact same way Declan was, and everyone around this sport. It's just one of those like family feelings, isn't it? That everyone just knows what we're here for. We all respect the sport, and we just want to have fun.
Yeah, I think as well. It's obviously it's a huge sport and all this, but it's a lot as well. It's a community. Like all the riders, like. It's almost like that saying like talent appreciates talent. It's like riders appreciate riders, because we're all going there to do the same job. We all kind of understand the negative side of racing, as in like the pressure, like the injury, everything. You kind of appreciate, we're all risking it, we're all having fun, and it's brilliant. It's like a community sort of effect.
I totally agree. I always use this example from my friend Reese at Mallory Park when we were commentating together. He was also racing in Mallory at East Midlands Racing Association, and he had a crash in the early morning session and he couldn't fix the bike because he needed a specific part. His rivals were going out there to get him parts so he could compete. And I've never seen anything like that before. In other sports, I was a fan of rugby league, maybe in that sense they would maybe provide them shin pads or something, but I've never seen that sort of camaraderie in a sport before, and I think it's an energy that should be bottled and given to other sports, I think.
Yeah, no, I've definitely had stories like that. I can't remember off the top of my head one, but there's definitely been times where like you need something and you buy it from another team or another thing. It's I think as well it's very similar everywhere. So like I'm yet to see it in obviously Junior GP and all this, but you kind of I think get there.
Early days yet for Junior GP. Maybe you'll see some. Maybe when we have our next chat, hopefully you want to come back on again. We can have another recap. Yeah. But I've got some. Speaking of chilled and relaxed, I think this is going to suit you now because I've got some quick fire round questions for you. Perfect. So I hope you're ready to give me some fast paced answers. So first things first, then let's sit up and really get this one ready. Yeah.
Yes.
Favorite track you've ever ridden on?
Estoril.
One track you would love to ride on that you haven't ridden on yet?
Montmello.
Wet race or dry?
Wet.
Really? Nice. Okay, I'm going to get back to that one.
That one was fast.
That was really fast. I was like, everyone's usually like, dry.
Yeah, no, wet, 100%.
Late breaker or corner speed king? You can't answer that already, but just...
Both.
Yeah, oh, nice. That's even better. Helmet on with music or silence before race?
Music.
One track you dream of racing in MotoGP. I guess you can't answer that with Montmello, but let's say specifically it isn't MotoGP to keep it entertaining. One track you have that isn't in MotoGP.
Isn't in MotoGP. Ooh. Is there any tracks that aren't in MotoGP nowadays?
World Superbike's got one or two, like San Juan Villa.
Yeah.
I don't think they got that.
Yeah.
What about
maybe
Lost?
like Imola.
Nice. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Which bike would you wish you could test if it could be any bike in the world?
Oh, it'd have to be a MotoGP bike. The Ducati MotoGP bike.
Modern Ducati or older?
Oh, modern. It'd have to be modern.
I thought you might go for a Casey Stoner Ducati, but didn't pull you in, no?
Nah, maybe... if anything, you could tempt me with a Lorenzo Yamaha from back in the day.
Nice.
Yeah.
The 2012 Yamaha was the best looking Yamaha they ever made. You know, the white one.
I remember that. When they did the special livery in Estoril in I can't remember which year it was, but with all it was white with all the faces, all the tiny pictures of 10. People from them.
I think 10.
Yeah, 9 or 10, I think.
Is that when Lorenzo had the moon, the spaceman helmet?
It was it was the same year that it would have been 10, yeah, because it was the same year they did the Montmello Pass, because Lorenzo had the Barcelona.
That would have been 09 then.
Yeah. Well, one of the two.
I'll have to have a look into that later. So, I noticed you ran the number 29. If you couldn't have it for any reason, what number would you choose?
It'd be 92, the other way around.
Okay, that's cool. And
which I did end up running at the end of last year.
And the reason you chose 29 is?
When I was growing up on the MotoGP games, it was back when you had only a selection of numbers. You could only run like a couple of numbers, and 92 was always what I'd pick. And then when I went to do my first race, I wanted number 92, but someone else already had it, so I had to flip it round and go to 29. And I've stuck with 29 now. When I did the junior GP wildcards, I had to be 92 because someone had 29. And I don't know. I personally, I thought I would always prefer the 92, but I think I prefer the 29.
I like the way the number 29 looks. Reminds me of the Maniac.
The reason why I couldn't run it was, in real life, was because of someone was already using it when we were doing the mini bikes. Got
you. That's cool. So, I think you answered this earlier, but favourite rider of all time? Still sticking with Lorenzo?
Lorenzo, yeah.
Nice. Best race you've ever watched?
I'm going to say 2021 Montmello Moto3 race.
Oh, that is a ridiculous race, that, isn't it?
It's crazy. That's that's one of the races, if I was in, I would have loved it. That's like my kind of race.
It was so dangerous, they had to change the rules.
Yep.
10 abreast, nobody wanting to be the leader going down the straight.
Yeah, they were rolling off into the final corner, not leader. Yeah, that's pretty cool for me.
It was extremely entertaining, but it was also scary.
Yeah.
You answered this one early, but the first bike you ever rode was a mini bike, right?
Yes.
From what you were saying earlier.
Oh no, actually, no. The first bike I ever rode was a PW50 motocross bike.
Oh, okay.
I had a friend and he let me have a go on it, just up and down the field, and then I never rode a bike again until a couple of years. No, not a couple of years. I think it was about a year later. First bike I rode on tarmac would have been a pit bike, just to learn. Right. And then I went to the mini bikes, which is a bit weird, but yeah.
A little bit backwards, isn't it? But it works. Clearly, it worked.
I think it was only like a 110cc automatic clutch, just literally go around in circles very slowly, or not in circles, but go around the track very slowly and just learn.
Biggest rival in the paddock you've had?
Oh, I'd have to say we're not even right. I'm guessing this is just on track, because off track I don't think I have a rival. We're all pretty
like Challenger.
Yeah, Challenger and rival on track definitely Manuel Brinton, just because obviously we're fighting for the championship. He was the one I had to beat. I was the one he had to beat. So on track, but off track we were good friends. Still are.
And before then, for the mini bikes, would you say you had a similar situation?
So for the actual like mini bikes, I was terrible. I think my best result ever after like 2 or 3 years was a 7th place. So I was like really one of them kids that you just like you don't expect he's not going to go far. But then I got on a Metric Kit, which was one of the obviously the geared mini bikes, and I just gelled with that straight away. And then I'd say so I won the championship in 2020, and my biggest rival that year 100% was Johnny Garnes, who obviously went on to win British Talent Cup I think a couple of years after. Yeah, super fast. But no, we had a really good year fighting each other. So yeah, I'd say him.
That's cool. Who's faster in different sports, you and your mates, if you compete in something like go-karting? Do you think it translates well for you? Are you fast? Or
I'd have to back myself in go-karting. Have to.
Are you good?
I'd no clue, but I'd have to back I'm not letting them beat me. Because then whenever you see your mates, they're like, "Oh, I'll beat you in go-karting," it's like, "Oh, great." You can't live that down. Professional motorcycle racing, you can't lose in a race of any sort.
What about virtual then? How do you feel like on the game? Is it still
virtual?
Not that serious.
No, I wouldn't take it as serious.
Fair enough. So if someone did beat you, they might brag, and you're just like, yeah, brush it off. But the go-kart, that'll wind you up.
Oh yeah, no. If it's something like really like thingy, but then again, I've got a friend who races Formula 4, so it depends which friend. But yeah, if I lose like a go-kart race in real life, I'll probably not talk to my friend ever again.
Delete.
Yeah. Just block them straight afterwards.
So if you weren't racing then, what do you reckon you'd be doing? Because you clearly got a competitive nature to you, because of course you have, because you're a racer.
I don't know. I had this question in a media thing for juniorgp, and I said supercross racer, but that's still a racer. So I'd be a mechanic of some sort. Maybe a filmer as well. I'm like in love with the media side of like a Monster Energy Supercross, MXGP. Just like the filmers and that, like the slow-mo edits you get and the clips are just like unreal. When you can really see what the bike's doing, it's like, that's like the pinnacle for me of like videography.
That's really cool, isn't it? There's nothing better than watching it in slow-mo and seeing like the bike move and the chatter, and you just like
the little details that you don't see at full speed, but the rider feels at full speed. It's like the perfect way to understand exactly what a rider's feeling. But and that's the only way to see it. I'm
thinking of some like short clips to watch later now, because I know there's particular ones where you just watch and you're in awe. I think the MotoGP used to do this. You used to upload like slow-mo footage every week of a particular race. I don't think they do it anymore.
The best one for it now is Grey Pam. I think that's how you pronounce it, or Grey Fam, like that. He's on Instagram. He's so good. Shout out to him. He did a reel for me not so long ago, literally from my test in Valencia, which I was super happy about.
I must have seen it then, right? Because it was posted recently,
Yeah. In the first one of the junior in the British Talent Team colours.
I'm going to have a check of that, because I feel like I might have seen that now. I consume a lot of bike content over the days, doom scrolling on Instagram, so I might have already seen it. But the last question then for our quick fire rounds. Modern MotoGP. If you could train with one modern MotoGP rider, Moto2 or Moto3, who would it be?
Moto2 or Moto3? Ooh.
Or MotoGP. Tell it to you. Or in fact, one of each class.
One of each class. Oh, so like Moto2 for me is difficult. Like usually, I'm not a Moto2 fan. If I'm gonna watch anything, like usually what I'd do is on a Sunday, I'd flick on Moto3. Go do something and then come back and flick on MotoGP. I wouldn't watch Moto2 just because I just didn't like it. But this year the class is so stacked. I have to watch it. Like there's not one name that I'm like, wow, I don't know who he is. Like everyone is like proper fast. And I'd say Moto2, like maybe Alonso Lopez or Jake Dixon. I know I've trained with Alonso a little bit. Like we've been to the same kart tracks and we've rode together a little bit. I know he's cool. Kind of got like a good group of people around him, and he's a really nice guy. So that'd be cool. Obviously, training with Jake is perfect. Like Brit on Brit is really cool. For MotoGP, I think it'd have to be Mark. You can't. Yeah, he's
you can't miss that opportunity,
the boy.
can you?
Yeah. If Rossi was still on the grid, it would be between Mark and Rossi. But yeah, I'd say Mark. He's the boy. You've got to pick him. And then for Moto 3, that's difficult. There's a lot of fast guys in Moto 3. Maybe Piqueras. He's rapid. He's won Junior GP, won Red Bull Rookies. Maybe we could get a few tips.
See, I just noticed how your mind changed because Moto3 GP, Moto2 is like, yeah, that's cool, but Moto3 is like, business. I could learn from him.
Because these guys are on the same bike, like their Junior GP bikes are the same as the World Championship bikes, and he had a year on a Honda, so it's perfect for me.
And now I'm assuming that is the goal for you. The road to MotoGP is to get to MotoGP, but are you thinking, you know what, Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP, the entire thing, or have you got an ideal plan if it was in a perfect world?
Perfect world for me now would be do well this year, get a sort of a semi-decent year in, learn everything, come back next year, because that's still an unknown for me. The way the road to MotoGP is set up, you have, you don't know your future. So I'm on I'm in the road to MotoGP now in this position for 1 year. Rookies, you have a max of 3 years. You have 1 year guaranteed now, and then next year, you at the end of this year, they either say yes or no if you come back next year. And I think it's sort of the same with my ride in Junior GP. So to keep them would be ideal. And then so hopefully next year I can do really well. Put a good season together, strong results, and then get picked up by a team in Moto3, go there, win that rookie year, Moto2, win that rookie year, MotoGP, win that just casual.
Well, we need a Brit in MotoGP. It's been too long, so if you fancy doing it, I'm up for that. I'll support you.
Yeah, I might have a crack. You know what I mean? See how it goes.
if the timing's right, if I can.
Yeah, squeeze it in. If they give me the right money, I might. I'll think about it.
And do you think this year, for being the rookie in Red Bull Rookies, it's going to be a case of a specific area or just open book, learn everything?
Yeah, 100% it's open book. The level in Britain is so much lower than even the likes of the guys from Asia Talent Cup. They're rapid compared to British Talent Cup. So just coming from Britain is difficult just because the step's so big. But no, for me at the minute, I'm doing a good job. Coming in, so a lot of Brits, when they've come in, they've not done sort of as well as I have in their first sort of time in Junior GP. As well, for me, the tyres are completely different. We race on Dunlops in England. They race in Pirellis out there, so it's completely different tyre as well. The way you have to ride it is completely different. The way it wears is completely different. The feeling is completely different. So it's difficult to come from Britain, but no, I think now with the way the road to MotoGP is, it will be a really good feeder ground for the Brits to come through and make the step into the European and Junior World Championship.
What do you think Britain needs to do to encourage more young riders to get involved with stuff like this? Because the Spanish, they roll them off the conveyor belt. They have a production line of young Spanish talent to fill every single spot in the world. But other countries, Asia Talent Cup, it's getting more serious now. The likes of Ayagura, Somkiat Chantra bringing more exposure. What do you think would help us? Do you think it would be another Brit in MotoGP or something else on that lines?
100%, obviously, Brit in MotoGP would change the whole sort of sport for Britain. I think now we're on the right path with, obviously Eddie in Moto3, Scott in Moto3. You have Jake in Moto2. He's been there for a while, but maybe if Sam stayed, and then if Josh stayed in Moto3 as well. You've got the likes of myself, Evan Belford, Sullivan Mousey on the come up, in Junior GP and Red Bull Rookies. well, I'm the only one with rookies, and Solly has it, but that sort of route is starting to fill up with Brits. You know, there's a good sort of dedicated route now that the Brits can follow. It's tough, you know. There's a lot of hard work that needs to be done, especially coming from Britain. It's difficult, but no, I think it's getting better now. It's a lot better than what it was, you know, 3-4 years ago. But no, I think it's starting to take shape now, and I think as well maybe a little bit more structure to like the British Talent Cup, like Red Bull Rookies and Asia Talent Cup. They follow a very similar structure. So does Northern Talent Cup. British Talent Cup, it had it before, but then it's kind of like its own sort of championship. It's different to any of the other talent cups. So I think that maybe makes a difference. But I think to get more kids involved would be like more Brits in the higher classes, but also people like Carl Ride does a good job now and he's starting to sort of get really into it in doing like training nights with the kids that race mini bikes, which helps the kids like see, you know, that it's possible.
Yeah, especially like James Whittam, Leon Haslam, they're all trying some sort of academy to get people up, and I think it is the way to go, because we look at Valentino Rossi's squad, you know, hand-picking Italians and bringing them up. Clearly that's extremely successful. But I think for us as well, you know, the likes of now Jonathan Ray not being as competitive as he once was, and we don't really have that much of a British... We have a lot of riders in Superbike now, but they're not at that top level competing with Top Rack and Bautista and Buliger, unfortunately. So I think it is a case now that we need more people. But from you, in this experience, who is living that dream, do you have any advice for the younger riders to focus on, or anything in particular that you've learned over the years that would work for them?
I'd say, like for me, as a general rule of thumb, work hard and don't give up. Like for me, I've got a super difficult, you know, year, maybe 2 years in front of me, where I've got to like dig in and just give it my all, when it's quite easy for me to turn around and say like, look, I'm not cut out for this, I need to go home. But just stick your head down and dig in and work hard.
And I don't think for 1 second you're sitting there thinking, I need to go home and this is not for me.
Not a chance. No,
you put far too much work into this.
Yeah. No, I'm cycling later today, so that'll be mint. Keeping training all the time, and no, it's good. It's one of them where it's difficult, but I'm a person that enjoys the struggle and the hard work.
I respect that so much, and you know what? I will be seeing your Instagram posts in a bit with you cycling, I guarantee. So good idea and an opportunity for you guys listening or even watching to follow Lucas Brown on Instagram. Lucas, do you know what your handle is to let the guys know?
Yes, it's Lucas_Brown_29.
Make sure you follow him, guys, and tell him Dr. A sent you, or Matt Grant from KneeDown, whichever one you want to use. But I think that's about it, Lucas. Thank you very much for the time you've spent here with me today. Brilliant insight, as always, from you guys. It's always something new that I've learned or something we can pick up to give to the viewers. I would love to have you on again. Hopefully you'd be interested.
Yeah, of course.
And I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I've had great fun tonight. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, mate. Would love to have you on again. But any final things you'd like to mention before we let you go?
I'd just like to say a big thank you to my sponsors this year. Amphibian Scaffolding, Coverwell, Facelift Home Improvements, Elbrand Construction, and Helmet City Race Support.
There you go. You heard it from the man himself. Guys, thank you very much for watching or listening to this podcast. Don't forget to share with your friends and like and subscribe. From Matt Grant and Lucas Brown, thank you very much. And I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.